All right, I would like to call our regular village board meeting to order. If you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor March,
Here.
Trustee Hudson,
Here.
Trustee Maravka. Here. Trustee Richards. Here. Trustee Sandberg is absent. Trustee Sluse. Here. Trustee Sturba.
Here. All right, and before we get to public comments, I wanted to formally introduce our new village administrator, Nick Palmer, and say a couple words to introduce yourself to everybody.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, trustees, for this opportunity. I've said that when I was here, but I appreciate it. I come kind of with a long career, I guess, in local government and some state experience too, but spent 18 years total at Will County, 16 of those years with the county executive and then 2 with the county board. I decided to make the leap from county government to municipal government, so I'm a newbie in a way to municipal government, but I've been around municipal government, you know, in partnerships. So I spent about a year and a half at Manhattan before coming here. I know a lot of the local elected officials because we worked with the townships and some of the municipalities, and so I know the county reps, state senators. So looking to bring all that experience here, and I've met a number of people in the community, been to the coffee shop a few times. So, but great welcome from our staff and from the community, and I'm just looking forward to putting my experience to work and getting to know more people here in the village. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Nick. All right, moving on to public comments. All right, seeing there's none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We've got minutes of the July 24th, 2024 special village board meeting. Also the executive session minutes from the July 24th, 2024 special board meeting. We've got the payroll and accounts payable, and the payroll for the pay period ending July 20th, a total of $76,620.28. And also another payroll for the period ending August 3rd of $61,756.30. The accounts payable, and this is for the period ending August 9th. The general fund, $43,329.90. Motor fuel tax fund, $9,101.14. Capital improvement fund, $2,116.95, and then the business development district fund, $716,961.45, and TIF 2, $299. The total for accounts payable $771,808.44. We also have a special event, the Old Mill Fall Fest, which will be on September 15th this year, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They are requesting a road closure as usual on Corning from Mill Street to Conrad Street. And then another special event, Game On Bar and Grill tree lighting, the corner of North and 2nd on November 30th from 4:30 to 6:30, and they're requesting road closure on North Street from 2nd to Railroad. Are there any items on the consent agenda that any trustee would like removed? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion. Second.
Moved by trustee Sluse, seconded by trustee Maravka.
Trustee Hudson.
Yes.
Trustee Maravka.
Yes.
Trustee Richards.
Yes.
Trustee Sluse.
Yes.
Trustee Sandberg, Trustee Sturba.
Yes.
All right, moving on to staff and committee reports. I see Angie's here. Angie, you have anything to report to us?
Just wanted to see, things are still progressing. We're looking still maybe by the end of the year for the source switch. I don't know if you guys have had any questions from residents calling in, because we are required to do some sampling. So we've been making outbound calls for different customers to get different, like if they have a lead service line, just to do some testing. So if you get asked any questions about that, that is outbound calls that we are making. So, but other than that, have you guys received any questions that you'd like? Okay.
So it's not gonna happen in September?
Still possibly, yep,
Oh, okay.
yep.
How many samples do you have to get? I'm sure this has been already addressed, but
Yeah, I wanna say there's 20 homes, I should know this off the top of my head, but about 20 homes,
okay.
yeah. But it's repeat sampling, so if
Okay.
somebody volunteers to do it, then it's repeat sampling. And when we drop off sample bottles, and then we come back and pick them up, it just has to be your first sample of the morning. And then we do give a gift card for participating
Okay.
in it each time.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
How's the building going out there?
Good.
I mean, is it in place? I saw
I think
something
it's
out there, but I don't know
Yeah, I
if it
think
was
it's
in
almost
place.
complete, yep,
Yeah?
yep.
And then we all got the newsletter today.
Okay, good, good,
So,
good.
all right.
Yeah, and if that brings any questions, just feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Troy, do you have anything to report?
Sure. Streetscape's progressing. This week they're working on the concrete for the seat walls, both the foundations and when it starts coming up out of the ground. They'll also be working on the concrete planter curbs for the landscape areas. It's expected to take a couple weeks to do that before they start pouring the actual sidewalk.
So the question came up, why are they doing planter boxes first instead of pouring the sidewalk first?
It's more just the grade, they need to set the grades for the curbs first before they
So those
pour the
planter
sidewalk.
curbs and the seat walls kind of determine where the sidewalks are gonna
Right,
go.
and then they'll be, once those planter curbs are in, it's like, a form for the sidewalk almost to make it easier, you know?
Okay.
Yep. The other thing is the MFT project on Crawford is possibly starting Wednesday or Thursday. They haven't been very concrete about it, but we're trying to make them, unless Bob heard any more than me. Same thing.
Same thing.
Anything else to report on Conrad Street Storm Sewer Project?
Conrad Street Storm Sewer Project, you know, that's been on hold because, there's water main in the way, there's gas mains in the way, cause it's a large storm sewer we're putting in. So we have our design pretty far along. Aqua prepared relocation design for the intersection, the main intersection north in Conrad. And now we're working with Nicor because they're gonna have to move some of their gas main, both for Aqua's pipe and our storm sewer. So that'll be kinda the work we'll be doing, you know, over the fall, winter, getting Nicor, you know, getting them to move their stuff. And then, you know, go out to bid early 2025.
A couple of residents have contacted me on Wood Street, and I've relayed those to you. Do you guys have, I know it's not gonna be a, you know, like a definite fix for ponding back there, but do you guys have something that maybe would relieve it a little bit, or make that drain a little faster?
Yeah, we picked up some shots back there. We kind of, there's 3 low spots, it seems like, that hold water. The nearest inlet is very, very shallow, so it's hard to run a pipe, like a real storm sewer to it. Bob and I kind of talked about possibly a smaller pipe or, you know, a yard drain instead of a real inlet. So we were gonna look into that as an option to help, you know, but it's just,
Bad
I know,
there.
it's just a bowl, it's a natural bowl, you know,
Yeah.
kind of area, so.
That pipe would actually almost run flat just to get it to work.
To like, yeah, get it up to the
Yeah.
street.
You might be able to pitch it up or down a little bit, but it's almost gonna be flat.
So,
As long as it gets that water out of there, cause it's bad,
so it might still pond, but it would drain
faster.
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 Yeah, unless we could find a deeper storm sewer connection somewhere that we don't know about, but it seemed like that was the only thing close by.
Okay. Any questions for Troy? Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Troy.
Troy. Bob, as long as you're here, you got anything to,
I think
you
he
kind of gave everything away?
kind of stole your thunder, stole my thunder, yeah.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
I'm just doing outreach. I've been setting up meetings with trustees, but also our taxing body partners, getting all the computer systems operational. So a lot of good things coming, but I'm just getting all my access to all those. So look forward to lots more reports in the future. So I'll keep it short today. So
All right, I do not have any specific comments today. We have no old business, new business. The approve payout to the Iroquois Paving Corp. in the amount of $716,821.85 for work completed on streetscape project. But Troy, do you need to, anything that you want to comment on that?
Not really, this is just for, you know, curb, excavation, removals, aggregate, subgrade, that's the majority of it, and all the big stuff they did over the last couple of months.
Any questions from trustees? Okay. You entertain a motion to approve payout to,
Motion?
Second.
moved by trustee Richards, seconded by trustee Sluse.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Trustee Maravka? Yes. Trustee Richards?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
All right, item G, discussion and possible approval of security camera system at Public Works facility. And trustee Richards is going to recuse herself from this discussion as she works for a sister company of one of the bidders.
Thank you.
So, you know, we've had people come out to look at putting in security cameras, not only at Public Works, but here at this building. We had budgeted about $10,000 in this year's budget. When the prices came in, we realized we were only gonna be able to do one or the other. And so the staff recommended, chief recommended that we start with the Public Works because right now we really don't have any, I guess I shouldn't be saying this on public TV, but we have very little security out there. And so we need to get that changed so that this would provide, you know, security, and police would be able to look at that, you know, real time. And because we've got, you know, quite a lot of equipment out there and stuff that we should be protecting. So, Bob, do you have any comments on the bids at all?
So the bids you all see, the cameras would cover that whole 3 acres, all the way to the back, to the railroad tracks, to the south, to the front. It has a box that'll all be recorded if we have to get in there and check out the videos. It would notify me if we had an intruder or something late at night. It would ring my phone, so I would know exactly what's going on at all times. We did receive 3 bids. I believe the lowest bidder, they're all roughly within the same ballpark as cameras. But yeah, that's what we need to do out there. Plus, we're outside the village limits, so it's kind of like a building out in nowhere. So it's time to do this.
So, is the low bidder, is that somebody you're comfortable
Yes.
accepting?
Yes.
Is that the 11227?
11,102.
102.
Any comments, questions at all from the board?
What's the storage on it? Like how long will the video store before they loop over?
Sheets in front of me, so.
Mine didn't
It's an
print out.
8 terabyte hard drive, so it's, I know Chief answered that question for me, and I don't have the answer. I mean, I think it's at least like 2 weeks, it might be even
I
a month.
believe you're almost correct, yes.
I think it might be a month, so.
That's fine.
I'll make a motion to approve.
The low bidder
Low bidder.
to
And who is the low bidder?
MDI Security,
Second.
moved by trustee Hudson, seconded by trustee Sturba.
Trustee Maravka?
Yes.
Trustee Sluse?
Yes.
Trustee Sturba?
Yes.
Trustee Hudson?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item H, discussion about the Ratchy Mill. So, as you're aware, last Monday, there was some of the cross pieces from the cap of the mill had broken free and dropped onto the decking and onto the ground. And so we've got kind of a couple things to discuss. First of all, the immediate need of securing that so that, you know, we don't have any problems with anybody getting hurt out there. So we're in the process of getting bids to remove those cross beams and also possibly remove the deck that goes around on the second floor. The Historical Society was already in the process of addressing that deck, but you know, now it's more of an urgency because of what's happened out there. So we do have we have three bids, Art?
Three quotes, yeah.
Three quotes, and I think we're still waiting on one more. But to remove those beams is gonna require, you know, a crane, and those aren't cheap. So, I mean, the bids just to remove those beams, I think, go from about 10 to 25,000 is kind of the range of bids that we got. I guess let's talk about that first. Like, what do you guys want to do immediately to secure that mill? What are your thoughts on that?
We don't have any insurance or anything like that.
I think we only have liability insurance out there.
Could I jump in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we, I mean, this is obviously wasn't something we were planning for, but obviously the mill is a very old building, and I mean, there has been some improvements in the past, but the concern is the public safety. I mean, there's homes on one side very close, and the other side not too far away either. And there's, you know, kids in the neighborhood. So we started reaching out to different vendors and contractors to see. So like the mayor said, we had one that was significantly higher than the rest. Fortunately, we found some others that are not only local, but are the lower bidders, but are very qualified, we believe. It's a challenge. I mean, they've estimated what it would be to get up there. I mean, it could be on the lower end of their bid. If it's one day, if they have to go 2 days, this is the low bid. It's between 10,230 for 1 day to upwards of 17,260 for 2 days, because they'd have the equipment there and whatnot. But I think the issue is really from a safety perspective, we need to get those rotting, deteriorating beams down from up above. And while it's cost effective, if you're gonna be out there taking the big beams down, take the deck that was already scheduled to be taken out all at once, so it'll be more cost effective for the project. And I mean, this is, I want to give you more detailed information when we come to board packet, so I took a stab at just a quick memo and did a little history. You know, this was built in the 1800s. The village took possession of it in 1982, so we own the building, we own the land, but it is a small footprint. But we obviously work with the Historical Society on this, so I think to keep it simple, the three issues or a couple issues are: one, getting it safe so that we don't have to worry about somebody getting hurt, and getting that work done, and then after that, coming up with a long-term plan of how we're going to maintain it, you know, how is that gonna be funded, and what else needs to be done. So I think that's a discussion maybe for another day. Really, the urgency is the safety of, because it wasn't blowing very strongly that day and it came down. So if we get a really strong wind and other weather issues, more of it could come down. So we're not saying it has to be done tomorrow, but it needs to be done sooner rather than later, probably. And I know the Historical Society's here, so I don't know if if you want to have.
You want me to come up?
comment or-
If you just want to make a quick comment on what's
Sure.
good going on.
Yeah, has anybody been up there to get a look at what happened or where it came loose, or?
Yeah, there's two beams that go through the cap, and attached to those beams are beams that come down and attach to a main beam where there's a wheel at the base, and that's how you would spin the cap around. So these beams up here failed, or the one going across failed. Just rotted over the years. No, it's been 27 years since they were put up there.
So if we don't get them taken down, they can cause more damage, not just to people, but to the building itself.
Possibly, there was no, from what we saw even by drone, there was no damage to the actual mill itself.
Oh, really?
So
Okay,
when they
good.
came down, they missed the shingles and landed on the deck, on the balcony. The balcony is pretty rotten anyway, boards were starting to come down. We wanted to do something, especially before Millfest, but just in general, so if anybody's around there, they don't get hurt.
Mhm.
We didn't even get the permit finalized yet, and this happened.
Mhm.
So, and you can see where, on the backside, across the one beam where it's already, it hasn't failed yet, but it will. So,
And would that cause damage to the mill? Possibly.
if it lets go, who knows where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it's a hazard.
So, I have a question for Michael. So we, yeah, obviously this is an action item, so how do we, can we proceed in the next couple of weeks before the next board meeting? By
Yeah,
taking that down, or how does that work?
right, so given the public safety issues involved, I think it would be fine if the board there's a consensus of the board to authorize staff to move forward with, taking the steps necessary to contract with one of these companies and get it secured and get the work done, and then we can ratify it at the next board
Okay.
meeting.
Perfect.
Just make sure, even if they are the cheapest, I want them to be the better of the group.
What kind of contractors do this kind of work?
Well, there's a variety I've learned, but this is the bidder we were referring to, and there's a couple, and we didn't have it all when we were publishing, and this is where I'm understanding your process, but I can send these all out to you so you can see them all. But Nichols came out, met with Bob, and Ed was there, and they droned it, so we have drone footage. They did a very good job of laying out exactly what their plan is of attack. And the other benefit is it's a local Will County firm.
Yeah, it's a good company.
So that's,
I've heard of them before.
the others were good too. They're ones, they have Markham in Chicago, and then one was in Chicago, but they, I mean, they seem like very qualified, and they, like I say, they have a very clear plan, and they said this, knock on wood, it should be a relatively straightforward process. I'm not gonna say easy, cause this is, anytime you're moving
Don't
big
say that word.
pieces of wood, yeah. But they're ready to go too. They have a team they're doing other work, but they will pull them to do this work if we move forward. Again, I don't wanna sound like there's imminent danger, but we just wanna make sure, because something that big, it's, you know, and like you said, Shelley, it's like if it comes down, it could hit the building and
Well,
damage
and
the
I
building.
know that driveway is like right underneath it.
Right, the basketball court
Yeah.
and stuff. That's,
So
And
that's,
I
they're
mean-
not parking anywhere near,
right, but
She
still,
knows.
I mean, if
we
they
don't want to go
mow
on
the
their
grass or
property.
something,
I mean,
right.
when we get to
You
the
know,
longer
right.
term issues of a plan for the future,
Mhm.
I think we need to look at where the parcel lines are and like the chimney back there and some of these other issues. It's just, I mean, it's a good thing and it's a iconic thing, but we just need to make sure we're kind of addressed what we can in this process.
the Historical Society is also willing to share, I guess, or share our money with the village in the cost to, I mean,
Well, are there
Because we have
grants
money
or
for
anything that we could
things.
possibly get for historic stuff?
I
Like,
mean, there's-
maybe in the future, not necessarily right this
Yeah.
second, but,
Yeah, I think there's definitely grants out there for all kinds of things, and I haven't been researching my
Those are
first
being looked
week,
at.
but it's like, I'm
Keep it on
happy
your
to
list
work
now.
with Ed, yeah. I mean, we've had several conversations over the last several days, week, since this happened. I think we definitely need to look for grants as a unified effort, but usually grants require local matches, whether it's from the village or whether it's from the
all the
historical
ones I've
or-
come across, even before last week, they're a matched grant. And they'll be for 1,000 to 2,000, or maybe 2 to 10,000. They're all matching,
Is there a way to possibly like, I mean, I know Michigan's a totally different state, but how they have Holland, I mean, maybe to find out how they keep theirs updated, if it's by the state or if
I
it's.
imagine
gave
there's gotta be
them,
some
like-
federal grants or something like that for, I
Yeah.
mean, those windmills are far in
700,000.
between, like, there's gotta be something federally that protects that.
Right.
Like, I would think that,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Something federal.
So-
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
They just rehabbed theirs in 2022 or 2023, and there was a ton of money. I think their rehab was $2 million.
So, to get back to the, this demolition part, I mean, is the board, is everybody okay with letting the staff, Nick and Bob and, myself kind of going through these quotes and coming up with the best solution and then, bring it back next time and
I'd say
ratify
yes.
it?
I'd be comfortable with, especially because it's a mill, I mean,
Yeah,
there's not, I mean, you can find another building anywhere miles around, but you can't
There
find
you
a
go,
mill.
right there.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing, I mean.
so, okay, so that's good. Now, moving forward, I think, we talk about doing grants, and there probably is stuff that we can do with that. In the past, I mean, just to kind of give everybody kind of the history of this is, the mill was given to the village back in '82, and then it was then given to the park district for a while because there was a museum tax that park districts could do, and then that went away, and so then it was given back to the village. But through all of that, it's always been kind of the gentleman's agreement that the Historical Society would really, spearhead things, and back in the 80s and 90s, there was quite a lot of fundraising done. Because the mill was in worse shape than it is now, if you believe it. I mean, it was in danger of, coming down. So that, it's been, at least structurally is in better shape. I feel like, we need to, come up with a plan and have some meetings, have some public input, and actually figure out what we wanna do with the mill, do we wanna, and then kind of put some actual plans behind that and how much we estimate that would cost, and then you can go out and start raising money and also start applying for grants, because applying for a grant with just, writing something down like we wanna restore the mill and we want $500,000, that's not gonna get you very far. But if we had something professionally done that said, this is, we had all this public input, we had an open house or whatever, people talk about it, and this is what the village really wants, and, we raise this much money so we can match funds, and I think that we would have a much better chance of getting a grant. And like I said, but it all depends on what we wanna do with it.
And everybody loves it.
Right.
I mean, when there's talk about it, they say the mill, we love it, it's our town,
Right,
but to get people to actually step up and get involved,
yeah,
it's tough. There's me and a treasurer and a secretary.
right.
And you guys looked at GoFundMe's? I know there's a lot of people that do GoFundMe's for stuff like that, and there's people like all over the country and the world.
We
that do
just
this
set up
stuff.
a bank account for
Yeah.
donations at the bank. GoFundMe, we could.
GoFundMe, you're gonna get nationwide.
And people
That's
don't have
where you're
to
gonna
get up.
You can get people from
percent
Holland.
away.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna
This
get
is
people
kinda
from
come
Michigan.
faster than
You know,
anybody thought.
Mm-hmm.
because GoFundMe, you can get people in Holland, Michigan that goes over there, and people might wanna see it and everything, and you're also getting the word out too. People say like, oh, there's another mill there.
Well, and I think the stuff inside of it's really cool too, because
Yeah.
it's stuff that kids can see that they don't see anymore, like the mill grinding and the pictures and the different tools
A lot
and
of Peatone
stuff, so,
stuff.
yeah, it's
So,
cool.
Yeah, I agree, we do need a plan, and, we need to put a number on it, what's decided to do and how far we're willing to go. And that way we've got a goal, because that's gonna be the first question, well, what's it gonna take? Then you can report back to people, here's where we're at, we've raised this much money, we're still short of our goal, come on,
Yeah.
T-shirts, festival, I mean, whatever can be done, cash
Mhm.
bash, you know, there's a
Well,
lot
we
of
have
things that you can
T-shirts and
do.
jerseys, or hoodies, not hoodies, sweatshirts, shot glasses,
Right.
postcards right now. Nobody's
Yeah.
buying them.
Yeah, well,
So come on out and buy some stuff
Where are they
Yeah.
at?
inside the mill.
that's
Can't
right.
get to the mill. Can't go there now.
Call
As
me.
soon as we get those
Call me or.
pillars down.
Beams down.
Reach out.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
open the mill up anytime.
I mean, another option you could do is talk about looking at the news, you know, see about the news coming down for Fall Fest, see if they want you to help, you know, with
Talk
the
about
damage
it.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta get it out there.
Yeah.
So as far as what we immediately have to do, the scope of the work that they're gonna do, they're gonna take the beams down, make it safe. They're gonna remove the railing and the decking from around the, and then, that'll be what it is for the Fall Fest until
Mm-hmm.
the next step. Okay, yep.
That should generate some interest also that there's something happening to the mill
Mhm.
and
Yep, sounds good.
move forward from
Yeah.
there.
So the other thing I just feel obligated to tell you all, and it's, obviously we weren't budgeting for this, so I talked to our finance person today, and we're gonna I mean, we can find the money, but it's, you know, it wasn't budgeted for, so this is gonna be like probably come from the fund balance, but I agree.
From capital.
From capital fund balance, so, and then going forward, if we have a plan, then we know what we need, what the project needs, whether it comes from the village, from the historical society, from private donors, at least you have a number to shoot for, but for this year, we're gonna just, this is kind of, we have to do this
Sure.
because it's
Yeah.
a
Right.
safety, and I think we all agree, so,
Yeah.
so, but we'll navigate that as we go
All right.
forward.
Any other comments?
No,
Okay.
thank you,
That's it.
Ed.
All right, thank you guys.
Exactly.
All right, questions of the press, I don't see anybody, any other comments from the board at all? All right, just reminder residents, don't park your cars or trucks across the sidewalk, and
Oh,
get your grass clippings off the street.
Yes, thank you.
You know, the
Just
rain
gonna
that
say
we
that.
had last week, I mean, it's just, you know, the storm basins get clogged up and it's a lot of flooding, so. Other than that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Maravka, seconded by trustee Sturba. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.